Finally, I'm gonna do more than just one episode for this part. Training arc! Hey everyone, I'm Wheeze. Enjoy the video. Demon Slayer Explained Part 3. 1 year has passed. Tangerine trains endlessly with his master, Junjoki Dakadaki, to become part of the Demon Slayer Corps, a group of swordsmen from ancient times who slay demons. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. Suzuko is sleeping and has been sleeping for 6 months. Tangerine starts to wonder if the ridiculous names were actually given to him on purpose, or if he was just a character from an anime based on a manga being given a recap from a particularly small and stupid YouTube channel which uses a purposefully idiotic name for comedic effect, but he decided to stop thinking about it. Tangerine's master finally gives him one last lesson and assignment before he can join the final selection, which he must survive before he can become a demon slayer. Sojoki Nakadaki tells Tangerine to cut a boulder in half. After hanging out with ghosts and learning how to breathe, Tangerine is able to cut the boulder in half on accident while trying to slay the ghost. Episode 4. Tangerine's master sees that he sliced the boulder and tells him he didn't want him to go to the selection because every child he sends there dies. But because he was actually able to cut the boulder in half, he lets him go to prove himself to survive in the demon-infested woods for a week. First, Aojaki tells him demons get stronger the more humans they eat, just like boys. Well, how much food they eat, not humans. But I suppose humans too for cannibal boys. Then Kojoki gives him a mask that is supposed to be charged with a spell to protect him from demon magic, and like most lucky and magical items, this mask does absolutely nothing. But dang is it fashionable, and it also makes him a huge target later on, but never mind. Tangerine says goodbye to his sister, who is still sleeping, and leaves for the selection. Similar to another well-regarded event involving children being sent into an arena where they are basically murdered by whoever put them in there because of the extremely low chance of surviving, the selection poses no questions about the morality of this system at all. The selection works by having demons that pro-demon slayers captured alive taken to the mountain where wisteria blooms all year long at the bottom, and demons hate it. But if I was a demon, I probably would stay put knowing you might meet with these children at the bottom of the mountain. Through their eyes alone, they look like they want to eat your soul, but will settle for eating the empty void in your heart if you don't have one. Tangerine is stuck in these demon-infested woods for 7 days, with a few other contenders to become demon slayers. He starts out strong, proving his worth as a shonen protagonist, using his sense of smell to find the threads that connect the demons to the world of the living, and severing it, which slightly reminds me of a certain character from another story I made a video about, but I'm sure this ability has nothing to do with being a psychopath. Tangerine learned from his year of training with Gurodaki that the demon's neck is the weak point, which also happens to be the weakness of humans and some animals. But demons can't be killed unless they are cut with a special blade, which is the sword Gurodaki gave him. Right after emoting over the demon's corpse, Tangerine sees a weakling running away from a massive demon. You can tell a weakling apart from a good demon slayer because they have no interesting physical characteristics, which is a good lesson for life. If someone looks boring, it's because they are, and you shouldn't bother talking to them, because they will probably get you eaten by a demon. Tangerine saves Weakling Boy, but not his friend, because he was curious about how the demon was going to eat him. Not a psychopath at all. Now Tangerine is faced with the biggest threat, a giant demon who has eaten more than 50 people, and who has lived so long, Japan has gone into a new period. The demon is kinda ticked off at Sojoki Narodaki, who captured him and brought him here, so he has eaten 13 of Wojoki's students, which the demon realizes because of the fox masks he made for each of his students. Meaning, Mr. Wojoki captured this demon against his will to train students, and that demon has instead killed 13 of his students that he must have spent a lot of time training. I don't know if there's a good word to describe this, but karma. Then the demon describes eating the 2 students which Tangerine trained with, and at that point, he realized something very important. He needed to stop doing drugs and playing with voodoo magic. The demon gets a little too grabby for Tangerine's taste, so he cuts off the demon's head using his power to sniff, which is also what allowed him to see the ghosts of the dead children who trained him, so it seems to be a very useful ability. Episode 5. Tangerine, being an absolute maniac, holds the hand of the dissolving demon to feel its death to the very last. Realizing Tangerine is as much of a psycho as he is, the demon is given comfort, as Tangerine trips out again and sees all the ghosts of the children that the demon had eaten. Tangerine then tries to hold casual conversations with each other demon he encounters. Much like trying to talk to me when I'm hungry, the demons try to kill Tangerine, who without hesitation cuts them down. The week ends, and Tangerine comes back to see only 4 students survived. Number 1, Tangerine. We all know he survived. He's the protagonist. He is currently thinking about how he could have saved Generic Boy boy if he had not tripped out and stared at Ghost. Number 2. Orange Boy. Orange Boy cries, realizing his own mortality as he thinks about how even though he survived this, he will eventually meet his demise. Number 3. Weird Butterfly Girl. I should call her Young Butterfly Girl. Young Butterfly Girl. She is staring at a butterfly and would definitely be the quiet kid in class if she was alive in modern day. Number 4, Gen Y. I'm sure Gen Y will become important later in Season 2 or something, but he is barely worth mentioning except that Tangerine almost breaks his arm because he gives really aggressive head pats. The 4 new Demon Slayers, which are now the lowest of 10 ranks in the Demon Slayer Corps, are each given a crow, except for Orange Boy, who got a sparrow, which is just really funny to me right now. He looks like he had the worst day ever and was just given a gift he could absolutely care less about. Then Tangerine sniffs some rocks and heads home all messed up and exhausted. He eventually makes it there and finds Snezuko not sleeping. He is surprised and happy because he realized he actually likes his sister, even if she is a bit too touchy sometimes. Manjoki is very excited to see Tangerine again, seeing as the last 13 died. Later, Tojoki explains to Tangerine that some demons use special voodoo magic called blood demon art. So Tangerine realizes he is not the only one who struggles with substance abuse. Oh gosh, that made me laugh. A few days later, the swordsmith comes by and gives Tangerine his color-changing sword that is able to kill demons. The swords change color depending on the user. When Tangerine draws it, it turns black, the color of his soul, and more than likely, most of his internal organs. He gets physically abused by the swordsmith until Tangerine's crow interrupts him and starts talking. Tangerine then realizes he has done so many mushrooms that the effect no longer wears off. The crow tells him that young girls have been disappearing in a nearby town and a demon is behind it. Thanks for watching. Another Demon Slayer Explained Badly will be out soon, probably next week. But click the bell and subscribe if you want notifications for all my new videos. Janya!